I got it working? I think I got it working. Since I'm live now. All right. Make sure the audio is okay. All right. I think everything's good. So yeah, today I'm just building a 7727, another kind of chill stream like I did with 7730 a couple of days ago. Yeah, everything's working. Yeah, I'm not sure what the problem is. It said live streaming isn't available right now. Might have been an issue with my camera. I like unplugged it from my laptop and then I plugged it back in, and that seemed to fix it, hopefully. Yeah. So yeah, the 7727, I'm gonna build it today. As you can see, like 7730, everything is in the uh, bags. Yeah. Hopefully some other people will kind of start to drop in. I publicized this stream a little bit more than the last one. I still have a bunch of sets to build in preparation for the next layout. Take this out and then get the instructions out. Let me switch to the live view on my PC. Okay. Live watching now, which is not bad. Oh, you got an unused sticker sheet for 7750 on top of the set? Yeah, you told me. I'll respond to your email later. I still gotta think about it a little bit and just haven't had time to draft a reply yet. Landy, you said the instruction says do something. Yeah. I'm not gonna build a track for the set yet. I don't usually build the tracks when I just build the sets, because I will build a big layout, not just a circle or the oval. Do you know where you can find the coupler base 02? Good question. Let me Good evening from Germany. It's not the evening yet, I guess. I'm on the east coast of the United States, so it's an afternoon. It's like 4 p.m. Well, you said you're missing the decoupler base 02 for about $30. Decoupler base 02. So that's within the decoupler base assembly. I'm looking at Bricklink right now. Yeah, 10 p.m. in Germany. Yeah, I know most of my European viewers, it's already like evening or nighttime. Decoupler base 02. That's the light gray rotor. No items for sale. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you might be able to find like if you can find uh, a decoupler that's like with the bases broken, because sometimes the bases can break, but if you still have the rotor, then that might be a good way to get a rotor for cheap. But yeah, most people just sell the decoupler base or the decoupler as a set instead of all the parts individually. All right. So the first step, the set is to build the two minifigures. What set do you guys think I should build next on stream? I'm thinking 7750, but again, I have a bunch of other sets that I want to build as well. So I'm not sure yet which one I want to do. Hello, Freddy the Train. I'm in the northeast of the United States, and it's like surprisingly hot here. I mean, it's already almost June, but still, it's pretty hot today. Surprising. All right, so you have the motor. It's ready. This one's missing two of the hooks on the side. Unfortunately, one of them was broken when I got it, and the other one I accidentally snapped off as I was building the assemblies. So just have to be careful with that. But they're not like super necessary for this type of wheelbase, anyways. You can kind of make the assemblies and then put them on after. Climate change, yeah, unfortunately. So because I'll need them in like the next step, anyways. Ella, you said you have two 7750s, but one of them has a hose that's bluer, that's more bluish than the other one. Is that normal? I've never seen a hose that's not like, the 7750 and 7727 use the same hose. All of the hoses are like this color. Maybe that's hard to see on camera or on the stream, but I mean, it's pretty solidly black if you compare it to another black piece. So I would say probably it might be not an original hose unless you're sure it is, which maybe it got faded or something. But all the ones that I've seen are quite solidly black. For this, Steve mentions you have to be careful to align the connecting rods the right way, otherwise it'll run super rough. You said you have no idea. You'll put the more black one to the 7750 and look. Yeah, look over ones for the personal 7750. You can get them on Bricklink. I mean the hoses are not like super cheap, but you can definitely get them on Bricklink. So I would and they're not super expensive. I think they're about $10 for one hose. Maybe, yeah, I've seen them between $8 and $12 for sale. So I would just buy one. All right, now we have like the the bottom kind of wheelbase for 727, the engine. I gotta say, I do like in this set how you can see right here the buffers are all very and the wheels are all very nicely arranged. They didn't do that with the earlier sets. They just had square trays that you kind of had to arrange that stuff yourself in. But it's kind of nice. And like in my 7755 as well, all of the wheel blocks and um, the buffers are arranged, super nicely in the weights as well. I think that's a nice detail. Ellie, you put WD-40 on the loud red motor and it runs smoothly again without opening it. Yeah, I've seen some people do that as well. Um, and it is a way to lubricate the motor without having to, take it apart, because taking it apart, obviously, then you got to deal with gluing it back together, and then it's not as nice. Um, I think it's an okay way if you have a motor that's still sealed, you don't want to take it apart. I have heard accounts of WD-40, it can weaken plastic over time. So it might damage the motor housing, but like I've never tried it. I'm not sure. If I have a motor, like I don't have many motors that need to be re-lubricated, but if I have a motor that needs maintenance, I'll always re-lubricate it with the silicone lubricant that I used in my videos in the past. Um, it's thicker and it won't like damage the plastic. Like I mean, I don't know if WD-40 definitely damages the plastic, but I've heard people who say that it can damage the plastic. So I would prefer not to do that to mine. But yeah, again, I've also heard people who have said it's been fine. I don't know. It was something like that from your Lego expert. Yeah. Um, again, I can't verify that if it's a good method of relubricating the motor or not. I've seen people do it. Definitely makes it quieter. I just don't know if it has any lasting consequences in the motor. What if you put a second motor on a 7755 too? I've also seen that before. It's definitely a good way. If you want to pull more wagons, because one motor on a big engine can only pull about three or four wagons before it starts to get slowed, and you don't want to put extra strain on your motor. So yeah, you can definitely do that. Do you have an extra motor to put in your 7755? I haven't done that personally. Um, I've never needed it because I keep my trains pretty short, but yeah, something I've seen other people do. You said it works and the plastic is still fine. Yeah, I mean, I think short term you wouldn't notice the difference, but I don't know about long term. I mean, like, over the course of many years, if it would denature the plastic, because the motors have been around for 40 years. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, also, did I see the new trains and so-called station? Yeah, I don't know. Let's just say I'm gonna keep collecting 12-volt stuff, maybe 9-volt stuff, but I'll definitely keep doing the older stuff. I think it's a lot cooler than the newer ones, the newer sets. Hexy, you made a video about the new train. Which train are you talking about? Oh, the new set from Lego. Yeah. LA, you said 3 and 2 on a slope. What do you mean by that? with 7740. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't put slopes on my layouts, but where's my other 1x1 plate? Yeah, I don't put slopes on my layouts, but I know that if you do put slopes in your layouts, it actually increases, the load on the motor by a lot. So you only want to put in a couple of wagons on that. There it is. You tested it with your 12-volt bridge, the one behind the modulars. Yeah, I do want to make a bridge eventually, but I don't have the space for it. Like I can't make a straight track to make a elevated bridge because my tables are only 4 feet by 8 feet long, or like they only have an area of 4 by 8 feet, which is not that much. Um, so maybe eventually. Okay, so you said 7740 is your all-time favorite. 7740 is a lot of people's favorite train. I like it as well. Personally, I like 7750 a little bit better, but 7740 is definitely like the most iconic 12-volt train, I think, without any question. Yes, a lot of people like it. It's a super cool set. James Saunders, you said you picked up 4.5 volt and push along, then upgraded them to 12 volt. Have I thought of doing the same? I have. I mean, now that I have all of the sets, all the like the 9 core 12-volt train sets, I would consider doing that. I'm trying to, shall we say, spend my money strategically right now because I'm a student and I don't have a ton of money. But yeah, 4.5 volt, definitely something. I was actually gonna build. I was considering getting a 7715 when I went to Denmark, but the box was in really bad condition, so I decided not to get it because the 7735, the box is in much better condition. Gabriel, C, what do I think about the new Arctic train? You personally don't like it. Like, we should make something more realistic. I agree with that. Um, I mean, it's a cool, concept idea, I think, but I agree. I would rather have something more realistic. Like the old 12-volt sets. Hello, masonry bricks are very useful for the monorail supports. What do you mean by that? Like the just normal bricks are useful for monorail supports? I know what the monorail supports are, like the pillars kind of pieces, the black ones, I think is what you're talking about. You also said which stickers for 12 volt do I need? Um, Good question. Extra 7740, 7750 stickers would always be nice. I like the B model from 7740 and might want to like part that together at some point. the 7750, I could use the extra stickers for sevens, like the 7777 steam engine or whatever custom ones I want to make. So that would be cool. Okay, so you think that city sets for children have to be realistic? Yeah, I mean they don't. I mean it's just it's a cool concept. And of course, children I think are gonna have no problem with it. It's just that I would rather have something more realistic, and I think a lot of the more like adult fans of Lego would rather have something more realistic. But yeah, really modified the Sims 140 with power function system to a custom controller and added LED to emulate the pantograph sparks. You made a video on that, right? I feel like I watched that video, or maybe it was someone else. I've definitely seen videos of Sims 740 hooked up to like the newer LED, like the newer tracks with a power function system and switching directions LED lights. I always said assembler on a sheet, preferably on the sheet. Also, I just like collecting sticker sheets in general. The two rear windows in 7727. Kexi, you said Lego should release a set for oil train fans more often, something like the Crocodile locomotive recently. Yes, I agree with that. And like if they could bring back the Emerald Light or something like that, that'd be super cool. I wanted to get the Emerald Light back when I was growing up. I got the 7938 red passenger train instead, but I always liked the Emerald Light. I never got it, and now obviously it's super expensive, and I'd rather spend my money on 12-volt stuff. Um, I still think it's a super cool set. I got the Maersk train though, so and also the 3677, the red cargo train. So those are kind of I'm not going to say investments because I probably won't sell them, but um, my more expensive sets that I got when I was younger. Gabriel, you posted a video on Battery Pod Rex Discord server. That might have been it. Yeah. Car Booster. Hello, Car Booster. Gabriel, you're working on Italian rail signals. Interesting. Ellie, you like the 60051. I like that one as well. It reminds me of if you know the 7897, the white passenger train from like 2006. I always liked that set. My friend a long time ago had that set, and then I had the 7898, the cargo train deluxe. So we always like set up a big layout together. And I always liked the 7897. I never got it. So the 60051. I think that's the one that you're talking about, if I remember it. If I remember the numbers correctly, is like the updated version of that. All right, the engine is now done. I really like the 7727 its engine. I think it looks very, very clean compared to 7730. I like the lower kind of wheelbase and this solid red line that it has at the bottom. I think that looks super cool. I'm gonna put it right over here. Yeah. Hello, looking forward to my mail, but I will answer tomorrow. I need to bring that after the stream. Yeah, no problem. I mean, it's still late afternoon, so I won't respond for a couple hours because I have some other plans for after the stream. But yeah, I'll respond today. Do I have any other Lego besides these trains, like such as Star Wars? Yes, I have a lot of other sets, older sets from when I was younger, like Minecraft and cities. A lot of old city sets from like 2005 to 2010, Star Wars stuff like that. I just never show it on camera, and I was trying to sell some of it um, to get more money for 12 volt, but yeah. So I still have a bunch of that stuff. And then I have some older trains as well. Like I already mentioned, the Maersk train. Uh, what was that? 10219. And then I also have 7938, 3677, the red cargo train. I have 7898. Yeah. Oh, the inner tray is dust. You have to dust that out. I don't know how dust got in there. Is it covered? It's covered. Well, whatever. Gabriel, when you bought the Sims 4, you noticed that the motor had a crack in the top. Is that normal? Um, Depends how big the crack is, and like, do you mean on top of like the bogey plate, like where it attaches to the train? It like a crack should be fine. Like hopefully not too bad. As long as it's not like it shouldn't be leaking lubricant because the lubricant they use is pretty solid. It's not a liquid. It's not a like it's very viscous. So it shouldn't be leaking lubricant. But yeah, one small crack is not that bad. Actually, my 7727 motor right over there, it does have a small crack in the side, but I still use it. Um, as long as you're like being gentle with it, and running it shouldn't be a problem. But as long as you're being gentle with it, not like putting it down gently, stuff like that, the crack won't get bigger, and it should still be okay. Gabriel, he told you everything was working. Yeah, the 7727 motor that I got, like, it's still working. I'm still going to use it. It's not like it's not damaged to the point where it's not unusable. It's definitely imperfect. It's got two clips missing at this point, and it's got a small crack in the side. But I think one of the clips is the crack in the side is near one of the clips, so I think probably someone like dropped it or something like that. So yeah, it's not perfect, but it's not something that's going to prevent me from using it. You got a motor that was cut in half and it still works. Say more about that. What do you mean by cut in half? And cut in half which direction? Like this? That would be crazy if it still works. I don't think it would work. Um, or if like the two shells, if the two shells are separated, then that can be repaired if it's not too damaged. Missing bottom. You tested it at school. At school, you tested it at school. That's crazy. I brought a 12 volt set to school. Um, last year. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. But you said it's still the motor and the core works. Yeah, that's meaning hopefully the metal blocks that it's holding or that's holding the motor still are fine. Yeah. Anyways, my story about bringing a 12 volt set to school last year was for my English class. which wasn't really an English class. And for those of you who are not in the US, this will be interesting insight into the US school system. I graduated high school last year, so like I'm going to university this year. But well, technically I finished my first year of university already. But anyways, when I was in high school, my senior year, which is the last year of high school, we did a project, and my project was actually the I don't remember if I mentioned it in my videos, but the custom Steam engine that I made was actually for my English class because it was a super flexible English class. And at the end of the school year, there's a demonstration where you had to bring in your final project or like show something from it. So I actually brought in my Steam engine and I ran it like at school. So that was super cool in front of my whole class. Physics lesson. Oh, I wanted to do that as well, but I never got a chance. It wasn't like it didn't really make sense based on what we were doing in physics. It would have been too simple, I think, or not super relevant because we did learn about DC motors, but I think Lego 12-volt stuff is not like obviously it has a DC motor inside of it, but it wouldn't be super relevant because you can't actually see everything working. It's just a train set. I did tell my physics teacher that I would show her my Lego trains at some point. So maybe I'll bring in a set because we got out of university. Like my school gets out early because of like yeah, my school just gets out early, and the high school that I went to, like I live near it, so it's still going. So I could go back and visit my physics teacher and bring her some of my Lego trains. That'd be cool. Building these wagons is always a little bit annoying because it's like you have to build the same thing twice, and this feels very repetitive. Said in an open day, your high school. Oops. In an open day of your high school, you brought a small layout composed of two trains that alternated essentially shared a single track, all automated with Arduino. Oh yeah, automated stuff with Arduino would be a super cool project to bring into school. The BR50M7750 is a dark past. What do you mean by that? So Ella and Gabrielle, are you guys both like, younger, like student age? That's actually super interesting because most of the other people I've known that collect 12 volt or like Lego trains in general are a lot older. And I've been one of the only like younger people that collects that I know. Like when I went to the battery powered bricks Discord, when I joined that, everyone thought that like I was a lot older than I actually was. I think you'll graduate in 2027. Like graduate university in 27. I'm graduating 2028 or planning to graduate 2028. That's super interesting that there are other, younger collectors of 12 volt. I guess Philip also in the Discord server, Flammer Flame, he is younger as well. I don't know how old. I think he's older than me. He's in his 20s. Gabriel, I might have seen something always And the Discord server better power bricks. You started 3 years to go to make a central blocks emulate 12-volt system with power function strings. Yeah, I have seen that. Have you posted about it on YouTube? I don't think I've seen your videos on YouTube. You should definitely post that if you haven't. I think retrofitting the older trains with like newer power functions, powered up stuff, um, is like a cool idea and it might get a lot of attention because that some people think the designs of the old trains are super cool, but you know they don't want to get into the entire system. Like 7740 is a very iconic set, but and I've seen a lot of like retro mods or I don't know if it wouldn't be a retro mod. It would be like a modern like internals in the design of 7740. Oh, you said it's more like a type of school before university, and you'll start studying there in 2020. Oh wow, so you're much younger than I am actually. That's crazy. And you're selling sets on Bricklink? Dang, I respect the hustle. I have to say, I respect the hustle. My brother and I, we run a small business for refurbishing computers. So that's mostly where I got my funds for starting 12 volt. So I can definitely respect the you know the reselling hustle. It really did. You posted something just for fun. I'll have to check that out later. And you said you started engineering in September. Somehow I'm not surprised that someone does Arduino and Lego trying to do engineering. I'm also doing engineering. Are you in the US, Gabrielle? I finished the wagons. Now I got to do the freight pallets. Yeah, from the pasta country. Okay. Are you studying? Are you still studying in Italy, or are you coming to the US? Because I know like there are a lot of international students in the US. At the moment, you're studying in Milan. Okay. If you ever come to the US, if you visit the East Coast, feel free to. You can comment on my YouTube videos. I'll send you my contact info or anything like that. I'll be happy to meet up. Or if I ever go to Italy, I want to like. I'm actually going to Ireland in like 2 weeks, so I'll put a notice out on like the Battery Powered Bricks Discord. Um, or maybe I'll make a video on it. I don't know. If anyone is near Ireland and wants to meet up, from that I know from the Battery Powered Bricks Discord, that'd be super cool. But yeah, I'm studying in the US. You have half a mind to go to Germany. LL says visit Germany. It's mostly good. I do really want to go to Germany as well. If for maybe this is a very shallow reason to go, but as a 12 collector, I have to say it. Like there are so many good deals in Germany from like the local auction sites that I can't pick up on in the US, obviously. So going to Germany would allow me to buy some super cool sets, hopefully for a lot lower price than I will be able to get on Bricklink or eBay or whatever. But when I went to Denmark, that was my first time going to Europe recently. GB model says hello there. How are you? How are you going? How are you doing? Doing well. Thank you for asking. Oh, it says they aren't that good anymore. What happened? Although I guess the 12-volt market has definitely been a lot more stagnant lately. There have not been like a lot of good sets for sale. I check pretty often, like a couple of times a week at least. And yeah, there just haven't been many good sets for sale recently. I don't know why that is though. The market was a lot better like a couple of years ago maybe when I started collecting 12-volt. It might have been because of the recent work of if you guys know the collector Cesar, he did a lot of work and kind of made the 12-volt community kind of active because he did a lot of like inventorying on Bricklink and stuff. But he is not active anymore. So maybe because of that, it just seems like there was a lot more activity, a couple years ago. GB models, I'm building 7727. This set. You can see that hopefully the glare is not too bad. Yeah. Oh, it says people selling know what they're selling. Dang, that's so sad. It's so nice to buy stuff from people who don't know. Like when I got my mail ban for like $40 a box from a US seller, which should have been like 150. Gabrielle says, just today at university, you met some of my compatriots. International students from the US or just Americans in general? I feel very American saying that. Americans. What do you mean you realize that in English you are truly pitiful? Ella says, luckily the visa restrictions aren't as hard in Europe as they are in the US. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into the whole politics thing. Recently, it's not great. It's not great. Jamie Model says, okay, nice. You're building a Star Wars Venator with the lights at the moment. Did that come with lights, or is there like a light kit for it? I have not followed up on any of the new sets in a long time. I buy the old stuff from Bricklink. Also, dang, I have 13 viewers. That's not bad. What's that for a strange siren sound? I don't. Oh, might be the like if there's a police car going by. I'm sure the police car sirens in the U.S. are very different than they are around the world. I know every place kind of has its own police siren. But yeah, I think I just heard a police car go by, so that's probably what that was. Gabriel says, in reality, there are students from all over the world. It's a nice environment. Yeah, I mean, it's the same at my school. There are like a lot of international students. Obviously, you get a lot of people from the U.S., but it's not just from like from the Northeast. There are people from all around the country, and then there are many, many international students that I've met. DB model says you had to buy the lights separated from, oh, Light My Bricks. Yeah. My brother actually had I think he had one of those sets. He got the James Bond Aston Martin, if I remember correctly, and he put that light set in that. It was pretty cool. This one 2x2 brick is like really scratched up and yellow. Oh well. That's what happens when you use original bricks from 40 years ago. Oops. All right, so the flatbed wagons are now both done. Hello, what's my opinion on 727-1? Oh man, that's one of the Blue Air 12 sets, right? I need to go look that up honestly. But I think I know which one you're talking about. That was like one of the last ones, right? Yeah, that one. I know what you're talking about. The red locomotive with the yellow stripe. I think it looks pretty cool. Definitely not the same, caliber as the gray era in terms of realism, but I do like it. And it was one of the first ones with the DB stickers on it, the DB branding. Space Monkey says, "Hi Wrecker, how did you like Denmark? Thanks for asking. It was super fun. Obviously, I got my 7735, so I'm super happy to go. I was super happy to get that. We went originally because my younger brother, his best friend, or one of his really good friends, was an international student from Denmark, and he was only over here for a year. But we went to visit them for like a week. So I mean, his family is super nice. So it was very fun to go see them. But yeah, obviously, my highlight of the trip was visiting Faro Cigar and getting my 7735. It was super fun. Alex says black bricks are even worse. Yeah, the BR218 type. Oh yeah, is that the actual trend that is based on? Car Booster says once you get all the gray air 12 volts at trains you want slash need, what's on my list to collect next? Good question. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I do want to like collect more box variants and like sets in really good condition. Because some of the sets I have, their condition is not amazing, and I like collecting the box variants. Like I have two box variants for 7740 now, um, but the third one would be cool, or like a DKSSF in better condition. So yeah, more box variants. Maybe 9-volt stuff as well. There are some 9-volt sets like the Metroliner. I know that's a very cliche set to like, but I do really like the Metroliner, so that would be cool as well. GB Mono says the lights fit were $180 in the Star Wars Venator, $1,000. That's a lot. At least at 4563. Yeah, I like 456. My favorite like 9-volt sets are. I mean, I love the Metroliner. I think it's super, super sleek, super cool, and it's based off of the American Amtrak train, so that's also cool. I like 4563, the Loden Hall. I like 4564, the Freight Rail Runner as well. 4565, not as much. I don't like that one as much. It's just, I mean, it's still a cool set. I don't really like 4560, 61, or 4559. I don't like that, like the weird design. What other sets? The 9-volt sets are there. The Super Chief, obviously, I love that one. I think that's a super cool design. Expensive, but super cool. And I like the BNSF locomotive, although it's expensive as well. Venator is $650. Cargo says 9-volt is another good train era. You mainly have those, but you are slowly getting into 12-volt. You just finished piecing together 7 for this past weekend. Congratulations. Yeah. I mean, I started collecting 12-volt because of their functionality, and I don't think there's any other. I mean, clearly there's no other era of Lego trains that even like comes close to 12-volt for functionality. I don't think there will ever be, which is why I really like the 12-volt era. Even if obviously the maintenance is a lot more, like you have to clean everything, and setting up stuff is like it can take me more than an entire day to set up a full layout. with the amount of stuff that I have, but it's super fun once you get it all working. But the 9 volt era is cool as well. Less maintenance, a lot like more refined, I think, than the 12 volt era. Although you said the 9 volt motors are awful. Yeah, I've heard that they have a lot less power than the 12 volt motors. And because they remove the weights and the rubber tires from the 12 volt system, they don't have as much traction. So like they sometimes can slip if you like have too many cars and you crank the transformer up immediately. I have heard that, yes. Although again, a lot less maintenance than the 12 volt motors. The 12 volt ones, you have to change the rims regularly. I have to actually, that reminds me, I have to go order some more rims soon because every time I make a new layout, I have to change the rims on my sets, and it's like because of how many sets I have to buy like $15, $20 worth of rims every time I make a new, every time I like rebuild my sets. Because if you have old rims, then they'll slip. Oh, this is Chinese made instead of German high quality. Oh, they switched them because I know they used Bueller motors and the transformer. They were manufactured by Bueller from the 12 volt era, but they switched to Chinese motors in the 9 volt era. I never knew that. Carbusher, you said people with large 9 volt layouts they may use 2 motors for a train. Yeah, I've actually seen even 4 motors on a train before if they have super long trains. On your layout, a pair of rims will last max 3 weeks. Yeah, that's honestly, if I'm running my trains, like every day, they'll probably last a couple weeks at maximum as well. Because all the dust goes on the rails, and then you have to like, or it doesn't even clean off. You just keep running the rims, and eventually they just get black and dirty, and then you have to change them. It's annoying. I wonder if there's a cheaper way to do it because I just bought them from an eBay seller right now. So I have a feeling I forgot to put that red 2x4 blade in the engine. I think that's supposed to go like, yeah. Take this guy out. Said Nuremberg from 69 to 91. Is that like Is that the company that made the motors? Oh, Silver Slope in daily use, yeah. Space Monkey Aggie said 9-volt has great design and functions. It's what I remember from the name's catalogs. 12-volt is before your childhood, but you prefer as an adult. Just love the commands and modularity. Yeah, that's kind of why I started collecting 12-volt, is the modularity. Carbution says, agree, the Metroliner is iconic. You'd like to get the club card that comes with it, but it's almost as expensive as the whole Metroliner itself. Yes, the sloped windows are super, super expensive. They're like $10 each for the domed windows that go on the top, because the clear ones were only in that set. Yes, they're not cheap. I also really like the club car, the design of it, but yeah, it's expensive. And obviously, if I wanted to even get it, I would have to start collecting 9-volt as well. Which, while it's not as expensive as 12-volt because you don't have to buy accessories, the straight tracks are still $4 a piece, which is a lot. He says, you could call myself the happy owner of the 2 club cards. Wow. The Metroliner is simply an icon. I agree with that. It is, yeah, it's super iconic. I think the Metroliner, I want to say the Metroliner is probably the most iconic Lego train that exists. I think, yeah, probably Metroliner is number 1, 7740 is number 2, I would say. And I built that incorrectly. This should not be a 2x4 plate. It should be 2 1x4 plates, which I don't know why Lego did that. I'm sure they have their reasoning. Isia, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Isia Ekia Crud says, hello, I'm finally here. Hello Ekia. Isia. Yeah, she says, and for the time at the beginning of the 90s, it was simply beautifully designed. I agree. And even today, it's like, I think the club car might be like, that and 7815 are probably my 2 favorite supplemental wagons of all time of any Lego train. Ola says, you have a sealed remote control for the crossing from 87. Should you open it? The level crossing? And if you need to open it, then open it. Otherwise, I would say keep it sealed if you don't need it, because keeping stuff sealed is a better financial choice. And for collectability, I open my sets that I get sealed because I usually get them. If I buy them sealed, I get them at a good price. I don't feel bad about opening them. Also, I'm not like I'm not a sealed collector. Um, I like to play with my trains, so I would rather not keep stuff sealed. As in, I probably will never buy sealed, for like thousands of dollars, and then just keep them in their boxes. I would prefer to play with my trains, even if I get a sealed set. Like I was actually considering before I got my 7730, I was considering buying a sealed one and then opening that on camera as the last 12-volt train that I needed. But I got the one in Denmark, and I figured I don't need a sealed one. because the one that I got was at a very good price and with a very obviously the very rare box. So I decided not to do that. But I was considering it. All right, the box car is now done. That over there. Ellie said, "You need it, but it's so beautiful, and you only pay $15 including shipping." Oh, if you need it, then open it. And $15 is like a pretty good price. If it were me and I needed it, I would just open it. And you paid that price for it. If you don't need it, then keep it sealed. But yeah. Kexi said the Electro level crossing is from '83. Yes, but Kexi, they released the service pack until I think it was '89 or '91 for the level crossing, and the level crossing they produced all the way until '89. So because it was such a good set, they produced that for a while. Alice says Lego Swivel Trains are there to be played with. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. Car Booster says, as someone in the US, I'm very jealous of you getting that for $15. Yeah, that's true. How much do they go for on Bricklink, the sealed ones? I haven't checked the service pack sealed, like the sealed service packs ones. Space Monkeys Addy says, you have to build an opening sealed set. Opening seals feels like a crime. Not that you can afford sealed sets. Yeah, same thing. Like with train sets. I mean, I bought some sets in really nice condition, but they're all like, I build them to play with them. Not keep them in their boxes. I mean, they're in their boxes when I'm not using when I'm not playing with them when they're not on a layout. But I don't feel bad about taking them out and building them because they're there to be played with. They're toys after all. Alice is 87.93 max service for 12 volt. Yeah. $15 for the crossings, $50 for the 750 wheels. Yeah, that's about right. The 750 wheels are not cheap. I have 8 of those. 4 in my 750 and then 4 that I bought for the my custom steam engine. They released those wheels only in 7750 and then the 2 service packs, one at the beginning of they had one from I think it was 80 to like 86 and then the next one with the updated bag was in the 87 if I remember that correctly. You found a bundle including 7750 wheels for $15 for one 7750 wheel. That's worth it. First set was 81. Okay, so they released the service pack starting in 81, not 80. I have not. I feel like I used to know that, but I honestly have not done much research recently. I've been super busy and have not been playing with my trains or doing research. Yeah. Forklift certified soon. Yeah, I just put this on. Oh, speaking of driving, forklift driving, that reminds me. And we were talking about Denmark earlier. When on my trip to Denmark, one thing that I thought was really cool was that all the cars there are manual, or not all of them, but like many of them are manual. And I know that's how it is in Europe, but in the United States, um, almost all the cars are automatic. Like it's like less than 5% of cars are manual. So I always will go and when I go out on the street, I'll just look for manual cars. I look in. People probably think I'm a creep. I look in I'll just walk by and look in all the cars and see which ones are manual. It's mostly sports cars. But yeah, I really like cars. That's like my kind of newer hobby that I developed recently. I want to drive I've driven manual once, but when I get my own car, I want to drive manual. Ellie, you said one axle with 2 wheel parts and pins. Yeah, was that the name of the service pack? Also, Ellie, you said trains are better for the environment as cars. I agree with that, but cars are so cool. Gabriel said, yeah, super common to drive stick here. You actually like it better. It keeps you more alert on the road. Yeah, I agree with that. When I drove stick, I drove my friend's dad has a Mini Cooper, a 2007 Mini Cooper S with a 6 speed. So I drove that. When I went to Denmark, I was like, wow, everything is stick. And the like one of the if you remember my brothers, we went to visit my brother's friends. His friend's dad was explaining to me that there are two license tests in Europe, or at least in Denmark, one for driving manual, one for driving automatic. And most people just take the manual test because if you, there are two types of licenses in Europe, which again is like a completely alien concept to me from the US. But there's a license for manual, there's a license for automatic. And if you drive automatic, if you have an automatic license, you cannot drive manual. If you have a manual license, you can drive both manual and automatic. So most people just take the manual test because that allows you to drive like any car instead of it being restricted. Um, but yeah, I find that super cool that most people drive manual, and I know that's how it is in like most of the world. It's just that in the U.S., I mean, you go down the street and 1 in 10, 1 in 20 cars you see are manual, and it's pretty much only the sports cars. There are some like more common traffic cars that are manual, but they're mostly older. Like yesterday, I saw a first generation Honda. I'm getting way too into, way too nerded out about this. But yesterday, I saw a first or second gen Honda CRV that was manual, so that was cool to see. Brooklyn calls it Wheelstead Large Red. Yeah. Oh, Space Monkey said you got your driver's license in Denmark as well. No automatics there. Yeah, the newer cars, like the electric cars, are automatics, but many of the like gas cars, even the new gas cars, are manual. Like stuff that in the U.S. you would never see manual. Like there are little Toyota hatchbacks that, like in the U.S. would definitely be automatic, but they're manual in Denmark, which is super cool. This is not everywhere in the EU. What do you mean? Like that not everywhere is they drive manual in the EU? I think like not, yeah, not like everywhere. But from what I know about, or not, you mean the license test? Is definitely like manuals are definitely more common. Like the US is one of the countries with the lowest percentage of manual cars. I'll say it that way. Manual cars are quite like mostly just reserved for sports cars here. You said in Poland you have two different driving tests and it works similarly. If you pass automatic transmission, you can only drive automatic. If you pass manual transmission, you can drive both. Yeah, I mean it's hard. It makes sense because it's harder to go from automatic to manual than from manual to automatic. Or sorry, the other way around. It's harder. Or no, that was sorry, that was right. It's harder to go from automatic to manual than it is manual to automatic. I feel like if I learned to drive manual, it would be much easier to go to an automatic. But I mean, normally I just drive automatic, so when I get in the car and there's a third pedal, it's weird. But I really like it. I want to drive manual. Ellie said in Germany there's one license test. Okay, are manuals like also common in Germany? I would imagine they're definitely more common in the US, but maybe not as common as Denmark. Gabriel said same in Italy and the same for motorcycle. Is it like a different test for the motorcycle? I know in the US there's a different motorcycle license. It's called the class. There's different classes. So driving a car is called class D, and then driving a motorcycle is class M. So you don't know you don't drive. Okay, fair enough. Listen, their classes in the EU license as well for cars, trucks, tractors, etc. Yeah, that makes sense. Lexi says that is not quite correct. In Germany, you can also take your tests on an automatic, and then you're only allowed to drive an automatic. Oh, is that true? I don't know. I'm not in Germany, so I wouldn't know. Space Money, that is the box I fixed. Yes, 7727. ECS says, you think manual transmission cars are more common in general in most European countries? Yes, that's what I know. Gabriel says the test is basically the same, but on the license, there's a number that indicates that it's only valid for automatic transmission vehicles. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, there's got to be some way for people to, identify it. Alex think so. You'll never drive. Don't say that too early. I mean, driving is still very useful, I would say, and I enjoy driving a lot because it means that you can, you know, go to places by yourself. I enjoy driving in general. But I know some of my friends don't have licenses, don't know how to like they don't care about driving. And because I live in the city, it's like you can just take public transit pretty much everywhere. So it's not as necessary to learn how to drive, but I think it's still useful. All right, I'm gonna start, wrapping up the stream, but I'll stream again soon. I think I'll put a poll out on which set I should build next. I'm thinking maybe 7750, but if you guys have any feedback on which set I should build next, feel free to let me know. I still have to build 77. Okay, I finished the first three, so I still have to do 7740, 7745, 7750, 7755, and 7760. So I have all the lower number sets built. But let me know what you guys think what I should build next. Ella said the public transit is very bad here. Bus drives every 4 hours. Wow, that's really bad. Ella says 7750. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. That's what I was originally thinking. Everybody else says, for example, when you were 16, you got my scooter driving license. Only gas, no gears. And they gave me the A1 drive type driving license, so 125 cubic centimeters engine capacity. With number 78, which indicates, at least here in Italy, that it's for vehicles without gears. Interesting. So they have like different codes for what the licenses kind of are make you eligible for. Yeah, in the U.S. is just one license for driving whatever car. You can't operate vehicles over a specific weight limit though. You have to have a specific license to drive like trucks and school buses, and I think that the four classes are like normal cars, and the motorcycles is a whole separate thing. But then the four car classes are like there's normal cars, passenger cars. Then there's vehicles over a certain weight limit. So like trucks, there's one specific one for school buses, because you have to learn how to drive kids, or like there's some extra tests you have to do with that. And then I think there's also one. There might be two others for hazardous waste categories, where you have to get specific licenses to be able to drive hazardous waste around in a truck. All right, hold on. I got a lot of comments to read. She says, let's complete all steam engines of the 12 volt era. You vote 7750 as well. Yes. Okay. 7750 sounds like people want 7750 next. So I'll build that on my next stream. Public transportation in Germany is lousy unless you live in one of the big cities like Munich, Berlin, Hamburg, or Cologne. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I live in a big city in the U.S. So I'm not going to dox myself, but the public transit is annoying at times because it sometimes is delayed, but it's decent. It'll allow you to get around without a car. Hello, where's the history of 12 trains video? It's okay. It's in progress. It's a big video. Like I have to plan it, but maybe later this summer. I want to do layout videos first. I'm probably gonna make only one layout video this summer, because I also am trying to work and earn money. But I'll make a good layout video and at least start planning the 12 history series. But that will be like a longer term project. Gabriel says here too, what is most commonly called a machine is a maximum of 3.5 tons. I don't know what the weight class is in the US. I think it's based on weight class, not on wheels, but yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream. It's like almost 5:30 here, so I gotta get ready for dinner. I know it's like 11:30, 10:30, 12:30, depending on the time zone if you're in Europe. So it's pretty late there. But all right, guys. Thanks again. Thanks again for joining my stream and for keeping the chat a little bit more live today than it was last stream. I'll probably stream again build 7750 tomorrow. I think I have plans tomorrow, but I think Friday. If not tomorrow, then I'll do Friday. And yeah, I'll try to make another like YouTube short publicizing that a little bit. And I'll build 7750. 7750 is like a smaller set. So maybe I'll build 7755 or 7760 along with it in the same stream. Also, because it's Friday night, people can hang out for a little bit longer. Because I know it's Wednesday today. But yeah. Have a good. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you guys hopefully on Friday, and I'll hopefully release some more videos soon. As I said, I'm going to do like a review of the 7750, the alternate model, the diesel, and then I still have to do my 7735 review as well. So yeah, look out for those like hopefully sometime soon. And I'll see you guys hopefully Friday. All right. Thank you all for watching.